Hey YouTube, Kristo here. Finally got another video for you, something other than a send to the day or haul or update video or something. It's been a while, I know, but I've been really busy at work, so you have to forgive me. Now, I decided to do a head-to-head instead of a review. I've actually had this one planned for a while, but this seemed like the perfect time to do it. Head-to-head, I'm going to do a special autumn version. I'm going to take two autumn favorites, Burberry London for men, and put it up against John Varvatos Vintage. Alright, now these two get compared a lot. I see a lot of people compare them online. I've heard a lot of reviewers on YouTube compare them, and even people that I talk to about scents and fragrances, a lot of them compare the two. So I'm going to put them head to head and see which one comes out on top. So let's look at the background to these. Burberry London was created in 2006 by Antoine Maisondieu, and John Varvatos Vintage was created in 2006 as well. Already a bit of a theme there, by Rodrigo Flores Roux. Now, Burberry London is classified as an Oriental Spicy, and Vintage is classified as a Woody Chypre. So they do have different perfumés, different categories there. Similar notes. There's actually only one identical note, and that's tobacco. And if you are familiar with both of these, you will know there is a lot of tobacco in both of them. That is a very predominant note. The only other note that they had kind of similarities were suede and leather. Vintage has a suede note and London has a leather note. But again, that's the thing. The tobacco is probably the most dominant note, and the suede or leather is probably number 2 or number 3. So although there are only two notes that are similar, they're very predominant notes. Now, bottle sizes. Burberry London. Now, I'm just doing big sizes here. I'm not talking about, you know, vial sizes and travel sizes and, you know, things like that. Standard, normal, large sizes. You can get this in 50 and 100 ml. John Varvatos, a little bit bigger. You can get these in 75 and 125 ml. Now, big one, price. Burberry London is about $40 to $60 if you look around. A little more at retail, of course. You can probably get it for less than $40 if you do your homework. And Vintage is a little bit more, about $50 to $70. Now, first category, value for money. Which one takes it? Well, I'm going to give it to Vintage. It's a little bit more expensive, but you do get, you know, 25 ml extra. So I do think it does edge out London just slightly. London, to be honest, is an excellent value. Bang for buck, this is, you know, one of the better ones you can get. But, you know, when you look at milliliter per dollar, Vintage takes that one. Now, first category, longevity. This one, I'm going to have to give it to London. Now, this is another scent that a lot of people argue about, that some people say it has great longevity, some people say it has poor longevity. To me, I get about average, just about average. Maybe about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, just average. And Varvatos Vintage, that's actually my biggest problem with this, is I do get pretty below average longevity. I only say 3 to 4 hours with this. So even though London is only just average, it still wins. I don't get more than 4 hours of this ever, which is a real shame for something that's, you know, dark and boozy and spicy as this. It just strangely only lasts for a few hours, but that seems to be a theme with a lot of John Varvatos scents. Projection. I'm going to have to give that one again to London. It's not amazing projection by any means, but it is better than vintage. Vintage, you know, even from the get-go, it does stay pretty close to my skin. And again, which is unfortunate because in the fall weather, it would probably be quite nice to pick up on someone. Creativity, packaging, and bottle. Now, for this one, I'm definitely going to give it to London. I really like the packaging and I really like the box. I think the box has been thrown out, I don't remember. But if you haven't picked this up, and I'm sure there's not many of you who haven't at least looked at this, this is actually Burberry cloth that it's shrouded in. So they did actually spend a bit of money to do a unique, interesting label on there. I do like that a lot. And the bottle itself is kind of a dark brown, and you know, it's a very suiting fall color, I think. Vintage, honestly, I do like the kind of snake skin look on the little label around it, but honestly, the bottle itself I find to be quite cheap looking. It just looks and, you know, totally reeks of like cheap, you know, dollar store cologne. If you like, I mean, if you took off the leather strap around it, I think it would totally look like something your dad would buy at Shoppers Drug Mart for like $25 or something. And I think that's one thing about the whole John Varvatos line that actually put me off a bit. Other than Artisan. Artisan has an amazing bottle, but it smells awful. All right, Uniqueness. Now, this one I'm looking at the actual scent. For this one, you know, again, I've got to take this. I really have to take London again. I think this one is more unique. The first time I smelled it, I actually didn't like it because it was just so strange smelling to me. And then I kind of warmed up to it, and now I do enjoy it a lot. Whereas Vintage, I liked right from the get-go, but after I wore it a few times and tested it a few times, it gives you a very cozy, warm, familiar feeling. It's probably not something that's going to blow your socks off, but you're going to go, oh, that's nice. I think it's a scent that's pretty hard to hate, but it doesn't win any points in uniqueness. Versatility, well, you know what? Actually, I gotta hold both of them up. I think they are both good for what they do. They're both really great for cool evenings, you know, whether it be autumn or winter. I think both of them totally stand head to head for versatility. I think they're great. Now, this one, I threw this in a special one for these two. Cool winter nights or cool fall nights. Which one wins? Which one would smell so great picking up on someone in, you know, the cool winter air? And you know what? This one for me was a landslide. I think Vintage totally takes that. If I was, you know, walking down the street and somebody walked by me in, you know, the middle of November and I could smell this coming off them, I'd probably, you know, be in heaven. That would be gorgeous. But the thing is, because it doesn't last or project well, you're probably not going to pick it up on them. But totally, this is just the absolute epitome of, you know, a cool winter night, in my opinion. I think this is great for it. Now, this one right here, the category that counts. Overall, which one did I choose? London won a lot of categories, but Vintage totally nails it with cool winter nights. And actually, of my three so far, my three head-to-heads, this one was the most difficult for me to choose. I went back and forth, and I changed my mind, and I went back again and tried them and tested them, and it was really hard for me to say, but in the end, I've got to give it to London. Not just because of the uniqueness and, you know, the projection and longevity, but because it is just something that's a little bit different. And that is probably one of the biggest faults with this, is the longevity. If John Varvatos put out like black vintage or dark vintage or vintage extreme, I would be all over that. I would totally buy it. I wouldn't even second guess it. I really like this a lot. But in my opinion, if you were to grab one of these, my money's on Burberry London. There you go, guys. Let me know what you think about them. I want you to leave some comments head to head. Which one would you pick? It was a tough call for me, but I would definitely take London in the end. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have another video or two up again before next week. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.